Hey everyone, it's Cory McCarthy and thank you for tuning in. This video is a sequel of sorts to last week's installment. If you haven't checked that video out yet, I recommend that you do. It shares some pretty interesting and even shocking data regarding male attractiveness, sex, condom use, female manipulation, etc. Toward the end of my previous video, I recommended that folks keep sex within the confines of a monogamous relationship, and more specifically, marriage. I mentioned that the best way to combat degeneracy is to simply not participate in degeneracy, which seems obvious enough. And that recommendation is not without its scientific merit. In other words, it was not a recommendation born of my newfound adherence to Catholicism, nor my longer-held conservative views. You see, the poison of degeneracy is very real, and we are witnessing its disastrous effects all around us in modern Western society. And it is pushing us toward an inevitable breaking point, a breaking point that many a great civilization had reached in times before us, which ultimately led to their collapse. A study published in 2014 by the University of Virginia with a final sample size of 418 heterosexual participants found that people, especially women, who have had multiple sex partners prior to marriage reported unhappier marriages, whereas men and women who had only slept with their future spouse prior to marriage reported a higher quality of marriage. Marital quality being defined by marital happiness, partners' ability to confide in one another, optimism about their relationship, and thoughts of divorce. And the researchers had controlled for age, race, income, sex, education level, religiousness, frequency of attendance at religious services, family history, arrest history, sexual history, cohabitation history, marital history, child status, infidelity, aggression, etc. Keep in mind, research demonstrates that beyond reproduction and pleasure, sex appears to serve an additional important purpose: pair bonding. Moreover, data shows that sexual satisfaction can even remain elevated for up to 48 hours after the act, and this subsequently leads to higher levels of relationship satisfaction even up to several months later. Ergo, fucking around is disordered behavior, no matter how one tries to dress it up with terms like sexual liberation, for example. A slut wearing Prada is just a slut wearing Prada. A $6,000 dress, for example, does not suddenly make her classy. It is also worth noting that a 2013 cohort study out of New Zealand found a correlation between the number of sex partners that a person has had with an increased risk of substance dependency, such as cannabis and/or alcohol. And as with the previous study I had shared, this negative association was more pronounced among females. And those researchers are controlled for prior substance dependency. Thus, this increased risk appears to be due to a person's promiscuity rather than any pre-existing substance use. So sexual history and/or promiscuity are indeed factors that should not be ignored when choosing a mate. They are also factors that we should be cognizant of in ourselves so that we may be better partners for someone else. That door swings both ways, especially in our increasingly sexualized society, where, for example, children are being made into sexual objects and/or brought to events that are arguably sexual in nature, which have even featured nude attendees. Now, the leftists will just argue it's progressive, while labeling anyone daring to challenge that narrative a bigot of some sort. But then again, everything and everyone seems to be fair game for the bigot label these days. And as with the term racist, bigot is quickly losing its meaning and impact in the eyes of the general public, especially due to incessant virtue signaling. People just don't give a shit anymore. I personally stopped giving a shit a long while ago. It's like, oh look, someone's being called a racist again. In more interesting news, the sky was blue today, and some birds could be seen flying. I mean, just this year alone, I've seen both the concept of time and dieting being labeled racist and Nazi respectively. And just a few years back, I recall air conditioning in the workplace being labeled sexist. We are truly living in a clown world. But back to the main topic. Just the other day on Facebook, a girl on my friends list asked if loyalty exists anymore. Sadly, that sort of question is all too common because there is a real problem. A 2002 study estimated that 45 to 55% of married heterosexual women sleep with men other than their husbands. And for married men, that figure was 50 to 60% sleeping with women who are not their wives. And in the US, it is estimated that about 1.2 to 2.4 million people are engaging in non-monogamous relationships, whereas 9.8 million only practice non-monogamy. That latter figure is a bit more than the population of New York City counting all of its boroughs, and more than twice the population of Los Angeles. We also live in a time where nearly 50% of marriages end in divorce, at least here in the US, with the leading reasons being lack of commitment, infidelity, and conflict/arguing. Surprise, surprise! One could argue that the family unit is a cornerstone of civilization, but that cornerstone has been in a constant state of erosion. We are in very real trouble, folks. So I stand by my sentiments that sex should be saved for committed, monogamous relationships, better yet, marriage. And I urge you, my viewers, whether you are male or female, to practice self-discipline. Giving into temptation now could negatively impact your happiness and quality of life in the future. And you have complete control here. Simply pull in the reins on your sexual behavior. Men, you control who you stick your dick into. And ladies, you control who gets to stick their dick into you. Why not secure that shit? I also urge you to maintain higher standards while seeking a partner. Don't settle for less. Otherwise, you could end up with someone who is virtually incapable of pair bonding with you, among other problems. So why not save yourself the heartache? Anyway, leave your thoughts and comments below, and don't forget to like and share this video if you found it interesting, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and press the bell button for notifications, and check back here weekly. All three avenues will help ensure that you do not miss any new content from me. Furthermore, check out the video description for links to my products and services, as well as my affiliate links such as Amazon and my Patreon and Subscribe Star pages, and other ways that you can show your support to me and my channel if you genuinely enjoy and get use from what I provide here. And that includes an array of my science-based training and nutrition ebooks, which can help you get results like those seen on my clients pictured here. I've also linked to my music for those who are interested. YouTube may have pulled my music channel for now, but my work is thriving on other platforms such as Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. There are so many ways that you can show your support. Remember that I am almost entirely demonetized, and YouTube doesn't really promote my work any longer, so I rely on you. So if you'd like to see me stick around, your support is welcomed and appreciated. So thank you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.